Hi everyone, it's Claire back again. I'm here to do, well, I made a suggestion on my channel about doing like a destash reflections thoughts video, and a few people said yeah, that's a good idea, so here it is. So I'm breaking this down into 3 stages. The first stage is things that you might want to consider before you even start destashing. So if you want to hear my tips and my approach and my mindset, and if you think it will help you if you're thinking about destashing either now or in the future, maybe you can come back and watch this video if you're thinking about it in the future. But anyway, hopefully this is helpful. So let's get right into it. So the first thing that I think you need to think about is why you want to do a destash. I know that sounds really obvious, but don't feel forced into it. Don't feel that you have to do it because other people are doing it. It needs to be something that you do yourself. And I've mentioned before, I think we all go around in cycles really of want to buy all the polish, have to have all the polish, and then all the indies and every, and the collection grows and grows and grows, and for a lot of us that's it. It's just the reality is a lot of nail polish. Where do we keep it? Where do we store it? Do we really wear it? Now I know that for some people the idea, just the thought of destashing any polishes will just be horrific, and certainly for me at one stage in my nail polish collecting addiction journey, I would have felt exactly the same way. I think you have to want to do it, and you need to be very clear about what your reasons are for doing it. Personally, for me, there's a few factors. Lack of storage. I like to see my nail polishes, so I don't want them stashed away in drawers and cupboards and helmers and things if possible, because I just want to be able to see them. I just think if they're in a drawer they'll even be more hidden away and I will just never use them. And I do want to use them. It's not just looking at the pretty colours in the bottles. I do actually want to wear them. My reasons were storage, wanting to be able to see polishes, knowing that I had a lot of clutter and impulse buys in my collection, knowing that, getting to the point of knowing really what my preferences are by doing videos on this channel, and knowing which ones I really kind of just don't go for, just don't grab at all. And I think so I was already in that mindset, and Polish Pony suddenly started doing a destash. She's got her own reasons for doing a destash, but it just kind of clicked into place for me at that point. So you must want to do it. You've got to have a clear reason about why you're doing it, because you may need to come back to that when you're having wobbles about why you're doing it, being very clear about exactly why you're doing it. The second thing I would say is have a goal in mind. So, and don't let this scare you. What I would say is your goal might be relating to a number. You might want to destash a certain number from your collection, or it might be at a much slower pace where you decide if you're buying a nail polish, then that means that 2 need to go out of your collection, which means that will be a very slow destash, more comfortable pace destash over time. The third thing that I would say before you even begin is to get support. I'm really lucky with having the interaction with people on my channel and in the comments. You've all been wonderful support throughout the process, but particularly in the beginning when I started asking those questions about what do I need to ask myself when I'm actually in the process of deciding, do I want to keep this polish or destash it? So there was loads and loads of really good suggestions, and I have definitely taken them on board. But those are the things that I think you need to think about. Those would be my tips. plan basically. So know that you want to do it, have a goal in mind that's comfortable for you, and make sure, if possible, that you get some support. You know, even if it's just here amongst us or within the sort of nail polish community, it's really, really helpful to have support. So the next thing I would say is during the process, and this is one of the areas that you all helped me with in the comments, is about what questions do I ask myself when I pick up the polish. What will make me make that decision about whether I want to keep it or whether it's going. So I would say, whatever your questions are, have a set of questions programmed into your head that you ask yourself when you pick that polish up out of your collection. And for me, I've got my questions here. Have I worn it? Do I have dupes? This is a difficult one. Is it unique in my collection? And if you're really honest about that, is this polish unique in my collection? You know, that's something that kind of takes a collection down from massive to manageable in my mind. So that's a kind of like magic question. Is it unique? And that's the thing that really makes you honest about it. The other thing is, can I see myself wanting to wear this? Would I want to wear this tomorrow? And if you say that 3 days in a run, then probably you're not going to wear it for quite a while. The other thing to ask yourself is, even if you don't want to wear it as a manicure, is it any good for nail art or stamping or water marbling? So you know it might have its uses, even though you don't want to wear it as a manicure. And finally, do you know that this was an impulse buy? Would you have bought that polish if it wasn't on sale? Would you have bought it if it wasn't the last one in front of you on the stand, on the display stand? So there's some questions to help you get started. Choose the ones that are more relevant for you and keep those in mind when you're picking up the polishes and going through your collection. If you really want a little bit of reassurance, I would say there are safeguards that you can put in place, which I did have, like stabilisers at the beginning of the process, that just disappeared without me even realising that they'd disappeared. One of them, which was an original suggestion in my when I asked for help, and somebody had said have a maybe pile. In fact, I think a few people said have a maybe pile. And if you remember in some of the early videos, I did have maybe piles, but that didn't last very long at all. I think I just got a bit more confident as I was going along. There are other things that you can put in place to safeguard. So you can have a maybe pile, or you can have, you know, just wear it and see, is it something that you think, no, I want to keep hold of this. So the other thing that you would want to think about during the process is, do you want to destash? Because it's quite overwhelming, you know, you're going through things in waves really. Well, I was anyway. Do you want to go by brand? Do you want to go by colour? Do you want to go by finish? You know, there's different categories that you can use. For me, I felt more comfortable going through, well, basically I'm doing both, just to be absolutely sure. And I've mentioned this a couple of times, and I think Cyborg Mom left a question about why did I not go through colour at the beginning. I just think it was easier for me to look at a complete brand and compare polishes to each other within that brand, and be able to pick off the easy impulse buys from the collection. It was just something that was much easier for me to go through and quicker to go through it that way. Then you're left with what you've got in that brand. And the second alternative way is to look at it by colour. And if I'd have looked at it by colour first, I would have had to break down like pale greens part 1, 2 and 3. It just would have taken it's taken me a long time, but it would have taken a lot longer. So the colour comparisons now are just really a way of me fine-tuning down, going back to those original questions, actually do I have some dupes here, and are there some colour categories, which I know there are, where when I was doing the brand destash, they were being given a pass because they were a creamy taupe, or a shimmery purple, or a flaky blue, or so, and there's a few actually that as I'm going through, I've filmed already the neutrals, the dusky pinks, and I'm going to be filming pale greens and mint greens today. So comparing them with each other was more. It's the process that feels more comfortable for me, I think, and you have to find the right one that's right for you. So the other thing that you need to consider, and you might need to think about this at the beginning when you're kind of planning it, is what are you going to do with your destash polishes? And there's a number of things that you could do. I decided to give them away just because that's what I wanted to do. I didn't want the hassle of trying to set up an Etsy shop or Store Envy or whatever. And I just really wanted to get rid of them as soon as possible, and also know that they were going to people who would really appreciate them and give them I'm destashing them, I'm getting them out of my life and out of my collection, but at the same time I'd like to know that they're going to a nice home, and a kind of so the whole adopted mum and rehoming thing is just my way of being able to cope with it, I guess. But you might want to decide to sell them, which is absolutely fine, that's fair enough. I may do a destash in the future where I sell polishes, but if you do that, then you would need to set up something like an Instagram destash page, or a Store Envy, or a Etsy shop for your destash polishes. The other thing that I would say about after destash is try not to keep those polishes hanging around too long. I made that mistake of trying to keep everything together because I knew that some people were asking for extra ones, and I'm making up the 4 polishes to send out to people in the UK. So I did a huge post this morning with like 20 different packages, a couple of boxes, and yeah, it was just, I held up the entire queue. But yeah, pace yourself when it comes to things like postage and stuff. I wish I hadn't have kept them waiting around. I think I would have had a better system. I would have had a better system for how to deal with the destashes. I hope everybody's got what they've asked for. I think the majority of people have. And please let me know that they've arrived safely, and if there are any problems. The other thing that I'd say is be honest. If you've used a lot of the polish and you're sending a bottle that's kind of only got 1 manicure left in it. There was a parcel that I sent today actually that it was a Polish Me Royalty, and I thought, oh, I've actually used quite a bit of this. So I wrapped it up and I put a note on saying I didn't realise actually I'd used as much of this. So here it is, but also to compensate for that I just put another polish in. And that was just one that kind of slipped through that was like, actually this has been used quite a bit. If you're selling them, then definitely be honest about how much you've used, and just say where it's up to, if it's on the shoulder or halfway through or whatever. Be honest about it. Because if you leave your polishes hanging around too long, then they might end up creeping back into your collection. So if you're asking the question, Claire, of any polishes from your huge destash, of which there have been, incidentally, the last count was just around 200, which is about a quarter, I'd say about a quarter, maybe a quarter of my collection. But the only one, just one, that snuck back into my collection, and it's the only one that I thought, why am I destashing this, is, and luckily nobody asked for it, this is China Clay's Jagged Little Teal. And it looks blue there. It's much more of a green, of a greenish teal. But it's absolutely beautiful. It came out in the autumn collection last year, which I remember getting quite a big haul. I think I've worn it once and I loved it. So I don't know why that ended up in the destash. I don't know whether that was a mistake or what my reasoning was for that, but that's the only one that's going to be going back in the collection. And yeah, I'm sorry. Sorry I nearly let you go. So let's go and have a look at my updated collection and we'll see if you can notice any difference at all. Okay, so here is my first shelf here, and here are my OPIs, some Nicole OPIs. So these are the kind of mainstream OPIs. Here are my Essies. I've got just a few Essie minis there. Here are my Essence polishes. I've got more Essence polishes, but just the 2 recent collections. Here are all my Sinful colours, and then on this one here are my China Glaze. And then in the corner here are my neons that are left from my neon destash. So that is the first shelf. And then we move up to the second shelf. Here are all my indies. Now I should say, actually, this isn't a completely accurate picture. There are some that are downstairs ready to be filmed for a comparison. And I've pulled out a few things like that for comparisons. But back to the second shelf. So here are all my indies. Colour Club, Cure Bazaar, and then here are my NARS polishes, Chanel, so these are more sort of high-end, Yves Saint Laurent, Deborah Lippmann, and my Illamasqus, and at the top my Polka Dots Dior set and the Smiths & Cult. And then moving along here, all of my Revlon polishes and the Revlon perfumery at the front. And then along here is more like high street drugstore brands. So American brands, Wet n Wild, Pure Ice. I've got another Pure Ice downstairs. Oh, I've got my Zoyas here. Not got many, but that's what I've got left. And then here are all my Barry M's, and again there are some downstairs. So we come up to the top shelf here, and over on this unit I've got some Nails Inc, Model's Own, Morgan Taylor, Orleys, Maybelline, a little bit of a mixture of everything here, and some mini Butter Londons. And then I need to get some better units because these are just kind of upside down glossy boxes. At the front here I've got some Me Box polishes. Here are all my other Essence polishes, Rimmel, Sally Hansen, Lottie London. At the back there, H&M, Nailed London, and my Sally Hansen Extreme Wear. I've got more of those downstairs, and also at the back of those with the gold tops are my Catrice polishes. So yeah, this shelf probably needs a little bit more of a tidy, but honestly I have to climb up onto a chair to get to this shelf. So that's it at the moment. First shelf, kind of mainstream. Second shelf, indie, high-end, drugstore. Up here we've got a mixture of brands, so I can reach them from the bottom, but just about. So that's it as it is at the moment. I think it's a little bit neater than it was previously. Still needs some honing, and that's the purpose of me going through the colour categories. In case you were wondering, this is how much is down here for future filming that should be back upstairs. And then over here is my box of indies, so all my Polish Me royalties, glitter baby nails. I've got more, these are all kind of minis. And then over here are my UK indies. And over here are my bigger size Polish Me royalties. So that's, you know, there's still room for a bit more there. So, final polishes that are left. So here are the China Glaze, OPI, there's a Butter London there and some OPI minis, and then over here some Nails Ink, Rimmel, Lottie London. These have come out of another video that I'm kind of spoiling here, but yeah, and Essence, Orly's. So if there is anything here that you see that you want, that you know you want to get hold of, then definitely leave me a message. If you're in the UK, you can have it if you pay for postage. And if I don't manage to rehome any of these polishes by, let's say, the 1st of May, that's the cut-off date for this round of destashing, not for the colours but just for the brands. 1st of May, and then I will be donating to a local women's charity. So hopefully you found these tips helpful. I hope so anyway. If you're thinking of starting on a destash journey soon now or way in the future because you still need to have all the polishes, then I hope this helps at some point in the future. In terms of how I feel overall, when I reflect on the process, I'm glad I've done it. Everything's a lot neater and easier to get hold of. It means that I'm not worried about if I do buy any polishes, where can I fit them, because there is now a place for them, and there's room for them, and yeah, it's not going to stop me from buying more polishes. It just means that I'm going to be more careful about what I buy, and also I might adopt the one in one out, which is the idea. I think I got that from Nicole. That's the way she kind of runs her collection, one in one out, which I think is a great idea, so kudos. And if you don't, well, leave Kenny's details down below, but if you not subscribed to Kenny, go and check her out. And I think overall I would say it's a relief. I don't really regret anything. In fact, I don't regret anything. I know that they'll have gone to places where people will, you know, use them and wear them more than I ever would have worn them, and appreciate them more than I ever appreciated them. And yeah, I don't know, I feel like I've kind of elevated to a different level where I've got something under control a little bit, maybe, not sure. But yeah, I hope that you've enjoyed this, and let me know down in the comments what your thoughts are, any tips that you've got, any plans that you've got for destashing, and yeah, good luck if it's something that you're about to embark on. Thanks for watching, everyone. See you all in the next one. Bye.